You ever hear a story so crazy you have to pause and blink twice and like, wait, she was a judge?
A Pennsylvania judge who's been at the center of controversy for years is once again in legal trouble. She's now accused of shooting her ex-boyfriend in the head while he was sleeping after he asked her to move out.
Police said she tried to convince McCoy that he had pulled the trigger on himself. McKnight was already suspended from the bench without pay in November over several pending violations.
McCoy says he told McKnight that they would talk about the relationship the next day and says he went to sleep at around 11 p.m. But then he wakes up a couple hours later with this massive head pain and he was unable to see. When he started screaming, McKnight reportedly asked him, quote, "Mike, what did you do to yourself?"
This is Sonia McKnight. She wasn't just any judge. She sat on the bench in Pennsylvania. Black robe, the gavel, the whole vibe. Behind that polished courtroom look, turns out she just had a lot of red flags in terms of dealing with relationships. And
a judge's boyfriend tries to end their year-long relationship, tells her she has to move out. In response, she shot him in the head while he slept.
like, it's so maddening. Hey, you know, this is not working out. You're gonna have to, leave and move out. Like, this relationship's not gonna work. We had our good times, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And then she turns around and while this guy's laying down, shoots him in the head. I just can't make this up.
Now, he miraculously survived the shooting and testified against her at trial. Well, it didn't take very long for a jury in Pennsylvania to find former Harrisburg District Judge Sonia McKnight guilty of attempted murder. Yep, you heard me right. Prosecutors say she was a scorned lover, and when her boyfriend at the time insisted she move out of his home, she fired a gun at his head while he was in bed, possibly trying to stage things to look like a suicide. But that boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend, Michael McCoy, lived to tell the tale, and he did so on the witness stand.
The man that was peacefully sleeping until this judge pulled the trigger. So this guy's name is Michael McCoy. He was a regular guy, probably just trying to enjoy a quiet night after telling Sonia to move out, probably for the 37th time. But she wasn't having it, and instead of packing her bags, she packed some heat. And fortunately, McCoy survived miraculously, but he lost vision in one eye and probably gained enough trust issues to last 10 lifetimes. So
it was a jam-packed trial beginning Monday morning at 9 a.m. The jury heard from 17 witnesses throughout the day on Monday, including Susquehanna Police Department patrol officers and detectives, the EMS crews that treated McCoy, and forensic experts. Throughout the trial, body cam footage was showed recapping the minutes after police arrived at McCoy's home and up to police interviews with McCoy the day after the shooting.
Sonia McKnight, her back was to us. She kept her eyes seemingly on the judge, and I was looking for any sign of emotion, if you would, looking at her shoulders, and I didn't see anything. It wasn't until she was walked out of the courtroom in cuffs that I finally got to see her face, and it was pretty expressionless, I would say.
Also, she had to take off all her jewelry, hand her purse over to her family. Talk about that.
Yeah.
Somebody who had so much power kind of in that moment, stripping their sense of identity in a way.
This was not out of the blue explosion type of thing. This is the second time Sonia McKnight's name has showed up in the news with a gun in her hand and a man bleeding in the aftermath. So this is a situation that happened back in 2019. She was involved in another shooting. This one was with her estranged husband. She claimed it was self-defense and the investigators let her walk. Let me repeat that. Back in 2019, she was involved in another shooting. That one was with her ex-husband. She claimed it was self-defense and the investigators let her walk. 4 years ago, Judge McKnight also was acquitted of charges. She was accused of using her position to interfere with the arrest of her son last year. The judge found prosecutors did not present enough evidence to support this and acquitted her without sending the charges to the jury.
Oh, I feel great. I feel great. God is good. Yes, he's good. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful. Yes, God will Yeah, he will intervene, but he will also vindicate you of all righteousness when you keep the faith and trust him. He said, no good thing will I withhold from you. So I'm grateful to God on this day for believing in me and knowing that I did nothing wrong.
And she didn't deserve this, and today justice was served. And I'm just, it's kind of restored my faith in the justice system. It really has. When a good person like this is given the opportunity to receive a fair trial in front of a fair judge and be vindicated, and let the world know she's not only been cleared, she's innocent.
So you think, okay, maybe once was a mistake, a panic, a fluke. But again, now, back in a year ago, she does it again. This time a man that wasn't even arguing with her. He was unconscious, dead to the world. And the only thing that was stopping this from being a full-blown murder case is pure dumb luck or bad aim. Who knows? I mean, it's a blessing that this man didn't die, because if he did, she would have been able to get away with this again. I mean, let's be real. Most people wouldn't survive a bullet to the head. But McCoy did. He woke up with a headache, pounding, blood pouring. When asked who shot him, he basically said, "I live with one person," and she was standing right there. So what's even crazy in this situation, she tried to act innocent. She tried to make it seem like this was a suicide. Her defense tried to argue that he shot himself. Yeah, because what most people do while they're sleeping is accidentally put a bullet in their own head while laying in the bed with no one else in the house. Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So therefore, the jury didn't buy it. They convicted her of attempted murder and aggravated assault in just 2 hours. So this was a very easy case to decide. That's quicker than, most times you're doing a lot of these trials. They take forever. This is pretty obvious. You have to know that the evidence was overwhelming in the jury to say, yeah, she did it before their sandwiches got cold for lunch. But this was a scary situation because Sonia McKnight wasn't just some regular person or, some toxic ex. She had power. She wielded a lot of power. She was trained in law, criminal behavior, courtroom procedure. She knew exactly how to build a case, or in this situation, I would assume how to dodge one. Yet with all of that insider knowledge, she couldn't even orchestrate the crime scene. She failed at murder the same way she apparently failed at keeping her ego in check or keeping a relationship. That's the problem with a lot of narcissists. They think they're untouchable. They believe that the rules don't apply to them because there are the rules. This woman judged people for a living, sat in courtrooms deciding who was guilty. Meanwhile, she had obviously some unchecked, unresolved rage, a loaded gun, and a track record that obviously should have disqualified her from even owning a water gun, let alone a Glock. And also, the problem is she was already on thin ice before this shooting. So in 2023, she was suspended without pay for violating her probation. She wasn't even supposed to be presiding over cases. And instead of reflecting or getting help, she was just continuing to spiral into chaos. So I believe that is narcissism 101. She could have walked away. She could have packed her bags, respected the breakup, and moved on. Instead of she chose violence, she chose to be judge, jury, and almost an executioner. Totally crazy. Totally crazy. What happens to all of the cases that she presided in? Do the defense lawyers say, you know what, this person was kind of a wacko. Maybe we need to get a new trial. Does everything she did, is it, it's up for scrutiny? Probably. Because it seemed like her mental health was definitely in question. Because this wasn't just one bad decision. This was a pattern. A character flaw that's so deep, it bleeds through your jobs. It bleeds through your relationships. It bleeds through her entire sense of self, right? We're talking about these small-time mayors, but they have a little bit of these issues. And she's in trouble. So her sentencing date is next month, the 28th. Her max time is 60 years. McCoy, great that he's alive. It's a blessing that he's alive, but obviously traumatized. He's half blind. Imagine that. Imagine you find someone and the relationship doesn't work out and you think maybe I can just move on from this. And you have someone that she's been a judge for a long time and probably doesn't get told no a lot. And thought, you know what? I'm above the law and I don't want to leave your home. In fact, I'm going to take care of you by pretending that you took yourself out. And I almost got away with it back in 2019. So I do agree with Ash. Yes, definitely needs to go in the house. Something is just not all her dogs were not barking at that. If I was a defense lawyer and I knew I lost a case where I really thought that it should have went a different way, yeah, of course. If I was in jail right now, and even if you did it, you get another trial. You get another crack at it. Clearly, she didn't have the mental fortitude and capacity really to be a judge in the first place. But I guess she was able to pass the test and was able to do what she had to do. But her reaction when things go wrong, who knows how she presided over the cases that could have affected people's lives. So if I'm a defense attorney, I am definitely looking to get another trial, another crack at it. Definitely. Yeah, imagine if she didn't get off the first time. Yeah, if they would have honestly looked at that situation and realized that it probably wasn't self-defense, this man would have vision in both eyes. But unfortunately, he has to deal with that traumatic experience for the rest of his life. So hopefully she stays in jail. Hopefully she gets enough time where she spends the rest of her life in jail, because you can't have those kind of people. We have too many crazy people already out here in the world. We can't continue to have more of them. So, good luck to McCoy.